One afternoon, a doctor and his wife decided to spend some quality time together, so they went to the local country club to play golf. As they stood on the first tee, the doctor's wife impressively launched a 300-yard tee shot, sending the ball straight down the fairway. The doctor couldn't believe his eyes and exclaimed, "Wow, I have never seen you play this well before." With a knowing smile, his wife replied, "Well, I took lessons." A couple of days later, the couple found themselves on the tennis court, engaging in a game of mixed doubles. To everyone's amazement, the wife dominated the game, smashing her serves and never missing a point. Once again, the doctor was astounded and said, "Wow, I have never seen you hit so well before." With her typical modesty, his wife responded, "Well, I took lessons." That night, they decided to enjoy a cozy dinner at home. The doctor's wife went all out, serving delectable appetizers, 2 flawlessly prepared plates of beef Wellington, and a delightful baked Alaska for dessert. The doctor, quite impressed, remarked, "Wow, I have never seen you cook like this before." And as you might have guessed, his wife replied, "Well, I took lessons." After their wonderful dinner, the couple found themselves feeling quite passionate. The doctor's wife gave him that look, and they headed upstairs to their bedroom. Their intimate moments were nothing short of extraordinary. About 30 minutes later, the doctor rolled over and said, "Wow, that was amazing." But before his wife could respond, he added with an unexpected twist, "I want a divorce." While crossing the Sahara Desert on a camel, the nun and the priest found themselves in a dire situation when on the third day of their journey, the camel suddenly collapsed, succumbing without any warning. As they dusted themselves off and came to terms with their predicament, the nun and the priest began discussing their bleak prospects. After a prolonged silence, the priest finally broke the ice. "Well, sister, this situation looks rather grim," he began. "I know, Father. In fact, I don't believe it's likely that we can survive more than a day or two," replied the nun, her voice reflecting the severity of their circumstances. The priest nodded in agreement, realizing the harsh reality of their situation. "Father," inquired the sister, "since it seems highly improbable that we'll make it out of here alive, would you do something for me?" The priest was willing to grant her request. "Anything, sister," he replied. "Under these extraordinary circumstances, I don't see how it could do any harm." The nun decided to reveal a part of herself, saying, "I have never seen a woman's breasts, and I was wondering if I might see yours." The priest, after a moment of contemplation, acquiesced, and the nun opened her habit. He enjoyed the sight of her shapely breasts, frequently commenting on their beauty. Emboldened, the sister then asked, "Father, could I ask something of you?" Curious, the priest inquired, "Yes, sister, what is it?" "I have never seen a man's penis," the nun admitted. "Could I see yours?" The priest, considering their situation, decided to comply. "I suppose that would be okay," he said. He lifted his robe, and almost immediately he found himself sporting a substantial erection. The sister, quite intrigued, inquired further, "Father, you know that if I insert this in the right place, it can give life. Is that true?" The priest confirmed, "Yes, sister, that's true." Upon hearing this revelation, the nun was determined to find a way out of their dire predicament. She suggested, "Oh, Father, that's wonderful. Stick it in the camel and let's get the heck out of here." At a lively college dance, a young American man noticed a girl from Sweden across the room. Her smile stood out like a guiding light in the sea of faces, and he couldn't resist the urge to ask her for a dance. The music was a perfect blend of old and new hits, bridging cultures and eras. As they stepped onto the dance floor, a palpable connection formed between them. The rhythm guided their movements, and as they found their groove, the American gentleman, feeling a bit adventurous, decided to express his growing fondness for her. In a smooth move, he gently wrapped his arms around her, offering a warm embrace. With a confident grin, he explained, "In America, we call this a hug." The Swedish girl, her eyes shining brightly, leaned into the embrace and responded, "Yeah, in Sweden, we call it a hug too." As the night progressed, the dance floor became more crowded and the energy levels rose. They danced through several songs, sharing laughter and tidbits about their lives. Encouraged by the rapport they had built, the American leaned in once more during a slow song. This time, he placed a tender peck on her cheek, whispering against the loud music, "In America, we call this a kiss." She smiled back, her face radiant in the dim light, and playfully replied, "Yeah, in Sweden, we call it a kiss too." Toward the end of the night, after enjoying a few drinks, he led her out to the campus lawn and they shared an intimate moment together on the grass. The American gentleman remarked, "In America, we call this a grass sandwich." The Swedish girl, her smile as quick as ever, responded with a playful jab, "Yeah, in Sweden, we call it a grass sandwich too, but we usually put more meat in it." One lazy Sunday morning, the whole family gathered for breakfast. While they were enjoying a delicious meal, something unusual began to happen. While they were buttering pancakes and pouring syrup over them, the parents winked slyly and mischievously. Their eyes met, and it was clear that something was about to happen. The gleam in their eyes spoke for itself. They were in the mood to be alone. Without missing a second, the wife abruptly got up from the table, pushing the plate away, and announced, "I have lost my appetite. I will not finish. I will go to rest." With that, she hurriedly left, leaving her breakfast half-eaten. The husband, without wasting a minute, hastily finished the remains of breakfast and jumped up from his chair. Without a word, he followed his wife up the stairs and disappeared into their bedroom. The children who were left at breakfast were completely confused. The older child, the more curious of the two, turned to the younger one and said, "Hey, something strange is going on. We need to find out what's going on." Without hesitation, the younger brother calmly put down his fork and decided to investigate. A few moments later, the younger child returned to the kitchen where the older one was waiting impatiently. The eldest child asked, "Well, what did you see? What's going on there?" The younger brother casually sat back down at the table, picked up a fork, and began to devour breakfast with incredible speed. Surprised and puzzled, the eldest child asked, "Why are you eating so fast? What's going on there?" The younger one, with fear in his eyes, replied, "Up there, Dad punishes those who don't finish their meals in bed." A man decided to give a nudist colony a try for the first time. Filled with excitement, he confidently shed his clothes and began to explore the surroundings. As he wandered around, taking in the sights, a beautiful petite blonde passed by him, and instantly, he found himself experiencing an embarrassing situation. Noticing his evident arousal, the blonde approached him and inquired, "Did you summon me?" Puzzled, the man responded, "No, why would you think that?" She explained, "Well, you must be a newcomer here. Let me clarify. It's a rule that if you have an erection, it's taken as a sign that you're signaling for me." With a mischievous twinkle in her eye, she gently took his hand and guided him to a secluded spot beside the swimming pool, where they intimately connected. Feeling more adventurous, the man decided to explore more of the colony's amenities. He ventured into the sauna, but as he settled in, he accidentally let out a loud fart. Almost immediately, a massive and very hairy man emerged from the steamy fog. Approaching with a stern look, he asked, "Did you beckon me?" Taken aback, the newcomer replied, "No, what are you talking about?" The large man rumbled, "You seem new. Let me tell you, in this place, if you let out a fart, it's considered as you calling out for me." Without waiting for a reaction, the burly man swiftly turned the newcomer around, bent him over, and had a rather intimate moment with him. Shaken and bewildered, the newbie limped back to the colony's front office, where a cheerful naked receptionist greeted him with a smile. She asked, "How can I assist you today?" Huffing and exasperated, the man exclaimed, "Here, take my membership card. I don't want any more, and you can keep the $500 I paid for it." The receptionist, trying to be understanding, replied, "But sir, you've barely spent any time here, and you haven't even explored all our facilities." Catching his breath, the man exclaimed, "Look, lady, I'm 68 years old. I might get an erection once in a blue moon, but I definitely fart at least 55 times a day." One lazy Sunday morning, the whole family gathered for breakfast. While they were enjoying a delicious meal, something unusual began to happen. While they were buttering pancakes and pouring syrup over them, the parents winked slyly and mischievously. Their eyes met, and it was clear that something was about to happen. The gleam in their eyes spoke for itself. They were in the mood to be alone. Without missing a second, the wife abruptly got up from the table, pushing the plate away, and announced, "I have lost my appetite. I will not finish. I will go to rest." With that, she hurriedly left, leaving her breakfast half-eaten. The husband, without wasting a minute, hastily finished the remains of breakfast and jumped up from his chair. Without a word, he followed his wife up the stairs and disappeared into their bedroom. The children who were left at breakfast were completely confused. The older child, the more curious of the two, turned to the younger one and said, "Hey, something strange is going on. We need to find out what's going on." Without hesitation, the younger brother calmly put down his fork and decided to investigate. A few moments later, the younger child returned to the kitchen where the older one was waiting impatiently. The eldest child asked, "Well, what did you see? What's going on there?" The younger brother casually sat back down at the table, picked up a fork, and began to devour breakfast with incredible speed. Surprised and puzzled, the eldest child asked, "Why are you eating so fast? What's going on there?" The younger one, with fear in his eyes, replied, "Up there, Dad punishes those who don't finish their meals in bed." A priest and a nun find themselves caught in a blizzard and take refuge in a deserted cabin. Inside, they discover a sleeping bag, a bed, and a pile of blankets. The priest, showing his gentlemanly side, offers the nun the bed and opts for the sleeping bag for himself. As they settle in for the night, the nun calls out, "Father, Father, I'm cold." The priest promptly gets up and places another blanket on the nun. He asks, "Is that better, sister?" "Yes, Father, much better," she replies. With that, he returns to his sleeping bag, ready to drift off to sleep. However, once more the nun cries out, "Father, I'm still cold." Resigned, but wanting to keep her warm, the priest gets up again, ensuring the nun is comfortably tucked in with extra blankets. "Is that better, sister?" he inquires. "Oh, yes, Father, that's much better," she assures him. The priest gets back into his sleeping bag, starting to doze, when her voice rings out once more, "Father, Father, I'm just so cold." The priest contemplates the situation and finally suggests, "Sister, we are in the middle of nowhere in a blizzard. No one but you, myself, and the Lord himself will ever know what happens here this night. How about just for this night, we act as though we were married?" The nun ponders this for a moment, acknowledging her curiosity, and eventually responds, "Okay, Father, just for tonight, we will act as though we are married." "Great!" the father exclaims. "Get up and get your own blanket."